Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Nanice, and this is your astrology reading for the full moon in Virgo, which is happening on Friday, March the 18th at 9:18 a.m. Cairo, Egypt time. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Please comment, like, and share. All these actions help for my channel to grow. So thank you so much for supporting me. So I'm going to start off with the collective reading, then I'm going to go through each zodiac sign, explaining what this full moon could indicate for you. I highly recommend that you choose your rising sign, not your sun sign, if you know your birth time. If you don't know your birth time, you can use your sun sign if you're born during the day, and your moon sign if you're born during the night. But for the most accurate reading, please use your rising sign. I put a link to a free online calculator in the description box below. So you can, if you know what time you're born, you can find out your rising sign through that. And if you need any help with the process, please email me at astronanice@gmail.com and I will help you out with that. Okay, so a full moon is a time of culmination. It is a time of harvest. During the time of the new moon, a seed was planted in the earth and it has grown over the past 2 weeks, and it has come to a point where the fruit has ripened and it is ready to be to fall off the tree or to be plucked off the tree. So look back at your life around 2 weeks ago, when there was the new moon in Pisces, because there was something that was starting around that time and it has come to bear fruit right now. You can also look back at your life around 6 months ago. You can check your emails, your messages, your social media, whatever, your journal, if you keep one. Look back at your life around 6 months ago during the new moon in Virgo, and that seed has also, it's become a time of harvest for that seed. And whatever has blossomed now is due to whatever that was started around that time as well. So full moons are a time of illumination. It is when the sky is lit up with the full capacity of the moon being lit up. And light is synonymous to information. So there is some kind of information that is being revealed to us right now. And at this time, the Virgo is a Mercury ruled sign. And Mercury is in the sign of Pisces, where Mercury is symbolic of the logical mind and of the left brain. And Mercury in Pisces is not that functional in that sense. It's a place where Mercury is functioning in a different way. It's traditional astrology. Mercury is in its fall, where it's not able to it's in its fall in Pisces, where it's not able to behave as it usually likes to. So this information that we're receiving right now, this illumination and this harvest, is coming through kind of more of in a more musical or poetic or artistic, more right-brained ways. It can also come through mystical experiences, in ways that perhaps our logical mind cannot make sense of, but it's an experience and a kind of information of its own. Virgo is the sign of the harvest maiden. It is a part of the sky that is symbolic of sorting out the wheat from the chaff. It is a part of the sky that's symbolic of organizing what is useful and what is not useful. It is practical. It is self-sufficient. Virgo is the sign of the virgin, and in old days, virgin did not mean a female without any kind of sexual experience. Virgin meant a woman that was not owned by a man. It meant it was a woman who was complete in and of herself. Like she was a special, it was like a special class of women who were usually tending to the temple, and they would devote their lives to God. And they didn't need to have a man. They were owned by the temple. They were not owned by men. So Virgo is also a very spiritual sign in that aspect, in a very practical way. They're tending to the temple duties. So this is why they're self-sufficient. They don't need a human partner. They're complete on their own. So this full moon is going to highlight a part of your life where this self-sufficiency and this practicality and this independence and organizational kind of abilities are going to be highlighted, or lack of is going to be highlighted. This full moon is making a very harmonious aspect to the planet Pluto. So this tells me that this full moon is going to also be a time of meaningful transformation, as well as empowerment from the soul level. I want to also point out that during this full moon time, Venus, the planet that's responsible for love, beauty, romance, the arts, music, relationships, women, children, and all the things that we find pleasant and sweet in life in general, is in a little bit of a tricky situation. She's stuck between a rock and a hard place. And this will continue till about the end of this month. So expect there to be some tension having to do with Venus topics that I just listed. Diplomacy is also going to be in a bit of a tricky situation. And it could be potentially explosive or frustrated. You may be feeling the urge to try something new, whether it's a style or whether it's something in your relationship or just to break free from it in general. My advice would be to wait until the end of this month when this transit is over to do anything permanent, because you may change your mind about it later and be like, oh, what was I thinking? So, and just be aware of hurting people just because you want to do something different. But that's something to be cautious of during this time. So that's all I have for the collective portion of this reading. I'm going to go through each zodiac sign now and let you know what this full moon can mean for you. And once again, I highly urge you to check out your rising sign. So for Aries, this full moon is happening in your 6th house of service, daily routines, sickness, toil, labor, workers, employees, and pets. So there's going to be a coming to light and a fruition having to do with those topics. For Taurus, this is happening in your 5th house of creativity, children, pregnancy, hobbies, leisure, the arts, recreation, and things that you find pleasant and pleasurable. So there's going to be a culmination and a coming to light having to do with those topics. For Gemini, this full moon is happening in your 4th house of foundations, home, family, father, ancestry, parents, roots, land, property, things hidden under the earth, graves and mysteries. So there's going to be a coming to light and an illumination having to do with those topics. For Cancer, this full moon is happening in your 3rd house of siblings, extended family, neighborhood, neighbors, folk culture, reading, writing, journaling, the life of the mind, basic education, teaching, communicating, and the everyday commute and short distance trips. So there's going to be a fruition, a culmination, and a highlighting of those topics during this time. For Leo, this full moon is happening in your 2nd house of personal possessions, personal income, money, movable possessions, and assets, including your time and your skill set. So there's going to be a fruition and a coming to light having to do with those topics. For Virgo, This full moon is happening in a very personal part of the sky, and this full moon is going to be that much more meaningful for you because it's happening in your first house of body, character, health, vitality, spirit, and psychology and life direction. So you're going to be feeling this full moon strongly, and the topics that I just listed are going to be highlighted, and there's going to be an illumination and a realization during this time with those topics. For Libra, this is happening in your 12th house of hidden enemies, secrets, self-sabotage, addictions, hospitals, monasteries, retreats, prisons, isolation, and ego loss. So slightly challenging themes mixed in with some deeply spiritual themes for you Libras. So there's going to be a highlighting of those topics during this time. For Scorpio, this is happening in your 11th house of aspirations, friends, wishes for the future, social groups, allies, benefactors. So there's going to be a coming to fruit and a highlighting having to do with those topics. For Sagittarius, this is happening in your 10th house of career, public reputation, what you are known for in this world. So if you don't have a career, it could be that you're a stay-at-home parent or a caregiver. So it's having to do with how you spend your days and what you are known for. So this full moon is happening in a very powerful part of the house of the chart for you. So you're going to be feeling it quite strongly, and it's going to be meaningful for you, and it's going to have to do with those topics that I just listed. For Capricorn, this is happening in your 9th house of God, higher education, spirituality, mysticism, astrology, law, politics, religion. I said mysticism. Long distance trips, foreign countries, foreign people, foreign things. So there's going to be an illumination and a coming to light having to do with those topics. For Aquarius, this is happening in your 8th house of obligations, joint assets, inheritance, taxes, loans, debts, death, karmic debts, and transformation. So with karmic debts, I mean a sense of you owing something to someone, or a sense of someone owing something to you. So there's going to be a coming to light, a fruition, and a highlighting of those topics that I just listed. For Pisces, this is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, spouse, one-on-one relationships, romantic relationships, and business partnerships and clients. You may be feeling this full moon a little strong because this is happening right across the sky from you while the sun is in your sign. So it's a meaningful full moon for you. And it's going to highlight the topic of one-on-one relationships. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope it helps you. If you'd like to book a reading with me, please email me. If you find value in these videos, please consider donating to my channel via PayPal. And thank you so much for watching. I'll be speaking to you guys soon in 2 weeks' time, inshallah, during the next new moon. Have a very blessed full moon in Pisces. Bye.